Wholesale Real Estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Here we go. Wholesale Hotline number 131. Here we go.
What's cracking?
Let's go. Where is Pace?
I'm right here.
Hey, what up, Mr. Morby?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you great.
He's frozen. Are we frozen or is Pacer frozen?
You're frozen.
We're frozen? Nah.
Is he messing with us?
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Wholesale Hotline 131. We are breaking down all of the basics of wholesaling. All of the basics from A to Z over the next several weeks. We're going to do one where we really deep dive into the basics, and we're going to answer a lot of questions. So this is going to be really critical for everybody to jump on here and ask questions. We promise we will do our absolute best. We don't always do the best job at answering the questions that are on there, but we're going to do our best to get to as many questions as we can so that we can provide as much value as we can.
Trying to throw a ball in a studio and nobody wants to catch it.
I got a note today, guys, that asked if we could keep all pitching to the last 10 minutes of the show. What do you think about that?
In terms of what? Like
Any kind of events, any kind of anything,
sure.
Any kind of pitch. Let's lead with a tremendous 80 minutes of value. In the last 10 minutes, just go bananas with anything that we got going on because we got some exciting things going on.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, first off, let me tell you guys about my challenge. just messing with you. What's up, Pacer?
Hey, guys.
Nice to see you, bro.
Nice to see you, too. I'm getting reverb, but just so you guys know from audio.
Got it. From yours or ours?
So I've never had this before when I'm on Wholesale Hotline with you guys, is that I can hear my own voice coming through the speakers. So are you guys adjusting to the audio situation over there?
1 second.
And also, I would turn both Brent and Jamil's mics up. Your guys' mics are very quiet.
Is that better?
How's that?
So much better.
There we
go.
You were supposed to be here, so I had it set up different.
Stay on your toes, twinkle toes.
Pace, it was fun hanging out with you in Miami, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
Great time. Masterminds are fun, man. Like we got invited to one with Grant Cardone, and we got to really interact with some super high level people. Networking and just connecting with other folks is, in my opinion, one of the key principles to building your wholesale business.
And when you say that you go out there and you're sitting there, Grant Cardone's talking to you, you guys are like absorbing it like a Robert Kiyosaki type of deal? Or is it like, hey, let's sit and introduce everybody and like mastermind here?
It was both. So, of course, Grant was super transparent and showed us a lot about what he has going on in his life and in his businesses, and God, is it ever a machine? But we were also in the room with other thought leaders, and we had tremendous opportunities to talk to them about what's working in their businesses, how they're monetizing their leads, how they're growing and scaling their companies, all information that we get to bring to the rest of you guys to share if you are at that process of your business.
Love it. Let's talk about wholesaling.
Yeah.
Let's talk about getting some deals. Let's talk about the 3 ways to get a deal. Okay. We've talked about it a lot on this show, but I think it's very, very, very critical to open up with how do you find deals? How do you generate opportunities where you can go and you can lock up the most incredible deals in your marketplace? Just like our friend or our good friend Dolph DeRoos says, the deal of a lifetime comes around about once a week.
It's such a great quote.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, man. It's true. It's interesting because I get to spend a lot of time with Pace and I get to see some of the deals he's working on. And it's true. Pace will actually pick up the deal of a lifetime actually more than once a week. And at Keegley, we'll do the same thing. And so it's truly just about staying steady and consistent in your lead generation and following up with people. And if you can put that to action, the results are impeccable.
So you go out and you've got no money. You're starting all over. We're doing this whole game again where you have to get a deal in the next week. Okay. Like they've taken everything from you. They've cleared out all your bank accounts. You can't have anything back unless you get a deal locked up and sold in 7 days. How do you go about it?
Well, I have no bank account. I have no money.
No money.
So I can't even put out earnest money.
Nope.
All right. So since I don't have earnest money, that locks me out of doing a deal direct to seller, or it locks me out of doing a deal direct to agent, unless I can convince my seller or my agent to allow me to deposit my EMD after inspection period, which many people actually do. So I could do agent outreach, but I feel like if I really just want to string this together and as quick as possible, I need to eat the lowest hanging fruit. That would be a micro flip. I would go and I would JV with another wholesaler. I would start in Facebook groups. I would find out where I had access to some buyers. I would go into some Facebook groups. I would start sending messages out and I would start talking to people who had potential opportunities. And then I would go and find some potential buyers by looking at tax records. I would go to software like Privy. I would pull their buyers list. I would go to a software like Batch Leads. I would pull buyers off their websites, and I would then contact these buyers to see if they are in the mood to buy. And then I would just pair up after comping some wholesaler deals. I would see which one was the best opportunity, and I would connect the dots.
What's EMD?
Earnest money deposit.
What does earnest money deposit do in a real estate transaction?
Well, it actually ratifies your contract. Typically,
what does ratify mean?
Makes it real, makes it live. So, guys, when contract law stipulates that a contract requires consideration in order for it to be valid. And that means that both parties have to exchange something. So if I'm buying a house or if I'm putting a contract on a house, I need to give some value, some monetary value to my seller in order for this contract to be legally binding. And they call that consideration. And so earnest money deposit serves the purpose of acting as consideration in your contract, which ultimately makes your contract legally binding.
Is there a minimum?
Nope.
Could it be a penny?
I've never seen that, but I've seen it as low as $10.
That's as low as $1.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've never seen $1 earnest money, but I'll take your word for it.
Yep.
I've seen $10 earnest monies a lot of times. In fact, there's a wholesaler out of Houston. His name is Ron Rana. He is the king of $10 EMDs.
What's up, Ron? Okay, Pace.
I always look at earnest money as the money you spend at a hotel, like when you check in and you open your transaction with the hotel. That's also the beginning of your transaction with that hotel. That's called opening escrow. Opening escrow means starting a transaction. When you go to the hotel, what do they always ask for? They ask for your ID and they ask for your security deposit, right? So they'll put $100 on your debit or credit card. That is earnest money. That is, hey, just in case I walk away from the transaction, or I want to show you that I'm serious, that I'm not going to damage your hotel. That is earnest money. So it doesn't mean it's additional cost. It just means it goes against the cost as long as you don't act like a fool. So very simple. We have earnest money in our daily lives all the time. We just don't realize it. So guys, let's keep it really simple when you're out there learning. These words, earnest money and this thing, consideration, and all these crazy words they teach you, I promise you, these are actually common day things you're running into. It's just that the real estate people want to keep you out of the business. So they said, Why don't we create really confusing words so that the normal human beings don't get into this business? Earnest money deposits and opening escrow with my gray poupon.
That's
It's
right.
not that hard. It's
so
not that
good.
hard.
It's not. He's absolutely right. You put deposits down on so many things, and relating it in a way that is like real life every day helps us understand it. Thank you so much for doing that, Pace.
Yes, of course. And then once you got that deal, you would, of course, arbitrage it to earn income to some other cash buyer, right?
So
Yeah.
Arbitrage, right, Pace? Let's get real crazy with all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I broke down last night on Sunday service. I did an episode called Creative Finance in Real Life.
mhm.
And I told stories about how creative finance shows up in our daily lives all the time. And people were blown away by how simple it really is. And that everybody on a daily basis is actually utilizing sub-2 seller finance, novation agreements, and arbitrage. It's just that that's not what it's called in regular life. And so I told stories that simplified it, and people were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm a creative finance genius. I do this stuff all the time. So we're here to make you guys cash transaction geniuses. So Brent, if wholesale is one of those things that people come into because they're like, I want to get started in real estate. I don't know how. I would say most people, when they want to get started in real estate, their gut tells them, and the normal world tells them, that you got to get started in real estate by becoming a real estate agent.
Yep.
Okay. So I can tell you guys that's one of the worst ways to get into real estate unless you want a job. If you want a job in real estate, become a notary, become a title or escrow officer, become a lender, or become a real estate agent. That's a really great way to have a job in real estate. And there's a lot of money to be made in those. But if you want to be a real estate investor and you want to make money on real estate, what would you say is the number one easiest, lowest hanging fruit in order for me to get started in real estate without any money necessarily, without a lot of experience, and definitely no credit?
You have to have a quality conversation with a distressed property owner or somebody that represents a distressed property owner. That is the seed of every single transaction. All right. Unless you're bidding at an auction, all right, which is a tiny, tiny, tiny amount in the last, let's call it 8 years. There's been plenty of equity in the market, more equity than ever before, right? Trillions of dollars in equity. You have to go and you have to find a motivated, distressed property owner that is willing to trade potential equity for speed and convenience. Those are so critical. Speed, convenience, price. Speed, convenience, price. They can only pick two. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the 6 to 10% of the real estate market that is in distress, that they want to trade the price for speed and convenience. That's what we're looking for.
So it's called wholesaling real estate.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that are ready to just get rid of a property. They don't want to go through all the hoops. They don't want to go through inspections. They don't want to go through appraisals. They don't want to go through listing it on the market or talking to a real estate agent. Sometimes. I'm talking off market right now. But I'm just telling you, you have to have, it all starts with you actually getting on and talking to people. It is just the absolute facts. And when you do that, that actually turns into your education in this business. Can you put the white pad on here? I don't write as well as Pace.
I got this hotel analogy going on real fast. Do you guys mind if I jump? It's like my mind is now spinning on this hotel thing. While it's fresh on my mind, think about this.
Yeah.
If Jamil, Brent, and Pace all want to go stay at a hotel, the hotel is our seller. Okay. And we're all three. We know there's like hotels are on fire. It's like everything is hot and it's really hard to get a hotel room. Okay. So we're competing over the same hotel room on the same day. We're all competing with that seller or that hotel. Are there multiple ways to get a hotel room? Can I go directly to the hotel?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So that would be called direct to seller.
Yep.
Can I also go through a booking agent?
Of course.
So that would be direct to agent, right? They get a
Yep.
fee for introducing you, right? And they're a booking agent. So that's direct to agent. Now, let's say that we're the hotel. Brent, Jamil, and myself all show up at the hotel at the same time. Jamil's gone through a booking agent. Brent Daniel's gone directly to the hotel. I got a referral from somebody else saying, hey, I know that hotel has an opening, run over there. There's one last room, right? So a wholesaler refers me to the hotel. We all three got there with three different situations. The hotel says, how serious are you about having this room? Well, I don't know about you, but if the hotel has one room left, are they going to be happy when Pace says, well, I don't know how serious I am. I need an inspection period. I need to go up to the hotel, smell the sheets, check the stuff. And then after I check the hotel, then I'll give you my earnest money. I'll give you my security deposit. Do you think the hotel is going to be more apt to work with me for that last remaining hotel room? Or do you think they're going to work with Jamil, where Jamil says, I don't need an inspection period. I'm willing to put $100 of security right now for this hotel room because that's how serious I am about staying here tonight.
Yep.
Or do you think they're going to be better? They're going to want to work with Brent, where Brent comes in and goes, I'll give you my full stay all up front, no inspection period, and the security deposit, I'll give you $500.
Yep.
So when we go into the security deposit, or the EMD, as we've been calling it, guys, you're going to have this question all the time about, well, how much EMD should I put down? Well, guys, if you're a hotel with one room left, which customer do you want to work with? It's a competition factor. EMD, when you put $10 down like a knucklehead, and I come in and I tell that hotel I'm willing to put $500 down or $1,000 down, who do you think that seller believes is more serious of a customer? And I can tell you right now,
the bigger deposit, of course.
There you go. And here's the other thing. If you go through an agent, let's say Travelocity or one of these places, and they go, hey, Jamil, I'm going to refer you to the only hotel in town that has an empty room. What do you think you're willing to pay for a security deposit and an inspection period? And if Jamil says, well, I want a 20-day inspection period and I want a $10 EMD. That booking agent's going to be like, are you kidding me? This is a relationship I have with this freaking hotel. I'm not going to freaking put you in touch with them, you knucklehead. So EMD is actually a very important aspect of this whole entire thing. Our job, those are three different ways to run into the same deal, right? You have direct to seller or direct to the hotel. Brent goes directly to it, knocks on the door, cold calls them, billboards, whatever it is that he's got to do to get in front of that seller. Jamil goes through an agent. That's his strategy. He's like, dude, they already know all the hotels. They've done the research. I'm not going to go and do the research. Have the agent bring me the empty room. And me, I'm sitting there going, I need a referral, right? I'm working with wholesalers on their dead leads. They've been all over town trying to find stuff, and I'm working on the dead leads. There's so many different ways to get in touch with that hotel. And your EMD is not just a requirement. It's also a negotiating strategy.
Absolutely.
How do you like that analogy, by the way?
It's great.
Love it.
I'm going to use that one. I'm going to write that one down. So when you're wholesaling and you're trying to get in front of these sellers, Brent says that there's 3 ways to get a deal. What are these 3 ways for us to go out and get a deal, Brent? Is it direct to agent, or are you calling these things 3 different things that we can categorize so people can like really compartmentalize what we're talking about here?
It all comes down to the way that you communicate with the property owner.
Yep.
You could have them call you.
Yep. So you
That's
can pay
called
for
marketing.
Yep.
Okay, that's number 1. You could pay for people to call you. You put it out there that you buy houses, you buy it cash, you do all these things. You do bandit signs, you do billboards, you do direct mail, you do pay-per-click, you do all those things to get people to call you or to reach out to you to come into your world, okay? That's the first way. It's awesome. It's really high-quality leads, but everybody knows about it. Anybody could click a button and start sending out mail or start a website, okay? So 1, do you have the budget to be able to have people call you? Number 2 is get referrals, right? Become the person in your marketplace that is known for doing these deals, right? This is your crew. This is your 30 real estate agents, investors that refer you 4 deals a year, and you do 120 deals a year from this referral database because they like you, they know you, they trust you, and you make them a lot of money. Don't forget that part. So that's the second way. The third way is you got to be proactive. You have to go and call them or talk to them. You either go to the door or you pick up the phone, right? You can go to the door. It's seasonal, right? It's really seasonal. But you could also just pick up the phone and call these people and start having that conversation and find out, Pace and Jamel, if it's an actual lead. If
Right.
it's actually somebody, a lead is somebody that's made the decision that they are going to sign a document that transfers ownership to somebody else. The beautiful thing, Jamil doesn't wait around for this, doesn't nurture these, because he's already working with a lot of agents and investors that have already signed these contracts, already have these people that have made that decision.
Right.
So when you get a lead, it's a short timeline. When I go out there and I pick up the phone and I call them and have a quality conversation, it could be 90 days before they're ready to make the decision. They want to make the decision, but the first thing I have to discover is, are they an actual lead? Are they an actual lead? Are they going to trade the price for speed and convenience?
Now, again, when you're working with real estate agents, it's just as long of a lead time at times, because
Sure.
they may not have a suitable property for a specific wholesale transaction. Now,
Right.
guys, remember, when we're talking about wholesaling houses, there needs to be some potential in the property to add value to it.
Yep.
And that's one of the things, one of the
Potential
major
equity.
potential equity. One of the major ways that I've seen people mishandle this whole transaction is they'll go off and they'll just see a house and they'll say, "Oh wow, this house has been available for some time now. They've been trying to sell it for 6 months and
Yeah.
nobody wants to buy it." But then you look at the property and you can see, well, it's been remodeled. It's retail.
I love that.
It's just overpriced. And so we try to fool ourselves into thinking that this could be a possible wholesale deal. It's not. It could be a possible rental. It might be a creative deal, but it's not something that we're going to wholesale cash. It's not going to be a cash offer deal because this house is in too nice a condition. So first and foremost, sometimes real estate agents just need to get that distressed property into their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to take you 90 days sometimes of following up with a real estate agent before they're going to produce a house that has potential equity in it.
And can I just hit on this real quick? Can you just pull this up full screen, Matt? Not just on the back screen, but on the full screen so we can see this very clearly. Guys, I am telling you, this took me a while. I don't know if you can see. Education plus action equals results. That's what we've learned in school. Get educated, get in there, understand the terms, understand everything, and then you can take some action and get some results. That does not work. Because you get stuck in the education loop, and then you start thinking about all the different ways that you can, be perfect at this, and you procrastinate, and you're like paralysis by analysis because you don't want to screw anything up. What I'm challenging you all is your education comes from the action plus the results. When you go out there and you just start picking up the phone and calling on property owners that have these rough looking houses, ugly houses, and you start building up your experience and your skills of communicating effectively and pre-qualifying these property owners, you get the education. That is your education. You have to charge forward. You have to take action. If you are stuck in the education loop, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. Stop staying on the podcast. Stop staying on the shows. Stop staying on the books. Just go out there and make a difference in your community. And it starts with you having courage to go out there and try something that's really awkward, really challenging, really scary. But if you feel that punch to the gut, that's when you know you're doing the right thing and that you're going to go and have some really positive change in your life.
Awesome.
So stop sitting around. Charge.
So we have marketing. What's another way that we can get leads for potential deals?
Marketing, referrals. And being proactive,
reaching out. Things like door knocking, driving for dollars.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the only 3 ways. Either you buy that conversation to come to you, you get a referral for being the man, And then, or you go out and you be proactive. And if you don't have a budget, you have to either get referrals or be proactive. And to be proactive, to get referrals, you have to be proactive first. This is what you did. You called up every real estate agent. You called up every investor. You called up every wholesaler to build Keegley.
Absolutely. There was no secret sauce. It was just action. It was action and creating relationships for deal flow. For me, and not everybody is going to agree to this, but for me, the calling homeowners was more difficult because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to create more long-lasting relationships.
Yep.
See, I've at the time was very limited in my thinking. Since getting to know Pace and getting to know you, I've seen Pace be able to take a seller and turn that seller into a private money lender.
Sure.
and find multiple uses for a seller, which is incredible. The way that I've always seen sellers is that it's a very transactional relationship.
Yes.
And so my way around a transactional relationship was to build relationships with real estate agents and wholesalers because I knew that they would bear fruit over and over and over again.
Yep. To answer that question, what do you do when you've lost everything or have to start over? Is just make a call. Just make a call. You know that there's a neighbor down the street that has a vacant house. Call them. You can get the numbers at batchskiptracing.com. You can get it right now. No problem. You could probably pull it up on True People Finder if you want to have zero budget, not spend the 14 cents, right? You could go to Ben Verified and get all that. You could get phone numbers for a lot of people and you just call them up. But idle hands do the devil's work. And the devil's work is all of that negative affirmations that you put in your head that you can't do this business. And that affects your subconscious, which affects your skills and your actions that you take. So what are you feeding your subconscious? Is it going to be positive affirmations? Are you going to be useful? Or are you going to be useless? That's the attitude, right? And then from there, you feel so much more. You feel so incredible when you actually go out there and take consistent action. Even if you have to talk to 200 people to do one deal, you solve the problem of that one person. And on average, that's $15,000 to $20,000 worth of value. That's what the market is saying. Just one call. Just start with one call. And then just go and build it and build it. And be around savages. Be around killers. Be around the dumbest people that take the most action. I am telling you, the people that take the most action and aren't just sitting there with theories and running and looking at all the lists that they have to pull and all these and understanding every single thing about a deal are the people that take 6 months to do their first deal, a year to do their first deal. The people that just go out and go, hey, does this price work for you, buyer? No? What price do you need it at? Okay, I'm going to get it at this price. And then you talk to the seller or whoever represents the seller. And then all of a sudden you build a multi-million dollar company.
It's incredible. It's simple. It's.
Did you take appraisal courses? Did you get your appraisal license?
I didn't get my license, but I did take appraisal course. And I did that later so I could get better at comping.
Okay. When you started, how did you comp?
When I started, I would just ask. I would literally ask my buyer,
what
price do I need to be at for this deal?
Yep.
There's somebody on here that said, I feel useless. Jessica Capistron. I feel useless. So here's another person. So it's interesting and ironic that in the same side chat, okay, we've got people like Joel who say, I have to shout out Christina and Jake for the best accountability I have ever got. Thanks a lot to them. So Christina and Jake are two of my students. We created accountability groups in my free Facebook groups where my students will lead non-students in taking action. So a lot of people talk about taking action, but unfortunately you have to have an environment like Brent was just referencing of action takers. Yep. So guys, who are your accountability leaders? Who are your accountability partners? If you say, I feel useless, it's because you don't have a single relationship, a single friend, anybody that's taking action in this business. The only difference between Joel and Jessica is that Jessica, I don't even need to have a conversation with you in order to know 1000% without a doubt, I would bet my left pinky on this, is that you don't have a single real friend in this journey of yours. There's a reason why we do this show live. We could do this pre-recorded. hanging out on a couch, making a bunch of jokes and having a great time. But instead, we choose to have 800 people in our side chat so that you guys can develop relationships with each other with other action takers. Do not sleep on this, because there's people in here doing deals. There's people in here thanking each other for helping them stay accountable.
Yep.
And if you are saying, I feel useless, it's because you are missing one relationship, Jessica. You will never do this business on your own. I don't care who you are. I have never personally done a deal in my whole tenure in this business. Never once have I done a deal by myself.
Nope.
It's impossible.
And what's the Jay-Z quote? I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Man.
Yeah, if you are a business, you control you Inc., right? You control your business, right? Who are your personal board of advisors? For real. That's what we're talking about when we say squad up. That's the whole heart. That's the motto. That's the mantra of the show, is to squad up. Find your personal board of directors that are out there doing something. And guess what? They will not want you as a personal board of on their personal board of directors, or want to be on yours, if you're not out there taking action and actually doing what you say you want to be doing. When you're actually going after your goals, you're going after all of these hallucinations that we all put in our head, that we want to have a better life, a more profitable life. We want more control of our situation. Well, it doesn't happen if we let things happen to us. We have to go out there and take action every single day. And it's either one of those three. They call us or we call them. That's it.
That's it.
And that's how you build up your pipeline of opportunities. And what I would say is pick one. Seriously. Pick one strategy and go real deep with it. If it's just picking up the phone on ugly houses, do that, and just do that and do that and do that. If it's calling every single agent that has a property on the market that is in totally destroyed shape and putting in offers on it, do that. If it's going and talking to every major wholesaler in your market and saying, hey, listen, do you have any dead leads that I can call? I will sit in your office. I won't bug anybody. I'll be super proactive with really good energy, and I will call every single dead lead that you have, right? That's what you said, Pace, right? That's what you would do if you were dropped in the middle of nowhere, had to get a deal in 7 days, no money, no earnest deposit, none of that.
I do it even with money. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love it.
Right. Because it's profitable. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a question. Speaking of wholesale, right? Between all three of us, Jamil's doing a significant amount more wholesale than anybody on the planet. But
Yep.
Brent, you're doing a good amount of deals. My team
Yep.
probably does between 6 and 10 wholesale deals a month. I acquire a lot. I fix and flip a lot. What is the average assignment fee that we're seeing in this country right now? So if I want to build this business, right? What I'm getting at is this. How do I reverse engineer? If I want to make 20 grand a month in wholesale, how many deals do I have to do? How much money is that going to cost me? And how much time should I put into this in order to get to a point where I'm consistently making $20,000? I think that's probably a pretty good number for most people. So let's ask that question and let's reverse engineer that. If my goal, let's start with Brent. If my goal is to make $20,000 in my pocket, how many deals do I have to do to get that? And how many phone calls, let's say, do I have to do to achieve that? And how much time should I allocate to accomplish that?
Love it. You typically shoot to make 10%. Okay. And it just depends. That's direct to seller. If you're splitting it with somebody, if it's going through an agent, I think that it's probably, 7% is realistic. But I would say we always shoot for 10% of the purchase price, right? And so it depends on what market you're in. You're going to get bigger deals in markets that have higher prices. So if you want 20,000 and you live in Huntsville, Alabama, and the average home price there is 175,000, you should be shooting to make 17,000, 10% on every single deal. Now, would you be fine if you made 7,000 on every single deal because the buyers are being a little bit tighter now? Sure. You just have to see in your market what are the prices that the buyers are paying, and are you able to negotiate and make 10% yourself? That's what we always shoot for. It takes you personally, 200 conversations with distressed property owners to get a deal. Typically, you can talk to 10 homeowners an hour if you're using a dialer, if you're not just hand dialing. So if it's 200 to get, and you can talk to 10, that's 20 hours of being on the phone, making calls to distressed property owners and asking them if they would consider an offer. From that, 20 of them will say yes, they are selling or some form of that, or how much will you give me? And then that'll boil down to one deal, the statistics show. And we are in Phoenix.
Love it. Jamil, UZL has a really great lead in to you. Says, I just started calling agents last week and I have 3 properties under contract and working on 2 seller finance deals.
Amazing.
Just in a couple of weeks. So Jamil, I know that working with agents is your primary.
Nice job.
That's your primary lead source.
Correct.
What would you say is the average agent related wholesale deal, and how much time, energy, outreach, how many conversations, all that kind of stuff could I back into and reverse engineer in my business?
It's a great question, Pace, and it's actually shifted since the market has adjusted. And so prior to the slowdown in the real estate market, we were seeing on average $23,000 assignment fee for direct to agent across the nation. And that was average amongst our franchises and our corporate stores.
Awesome.
Since the market has shifted, the average assignment fee for the last 30 days has been between $9,000 and $14,000. So we've gone down roughly $10,000 in half. Yeah. And since the shift. And that's just because, of course, real estate agents they're quicker to adjust and pivot, but sellers are still a little bit stuck on old pricing. And so we've had to get a little bit more aggressive, and buyers are getting a little bit more conservative. So there's compression on the pricing. That means that our fees are getting smaller. It's just adjusted. But we do so many transactions that we have enough data points to see that shift immediately.
Okay.
Guys, are you guys getting value out of this? If you are getting value, if you feel like this is getting you closer to your goals, and make sure, one, you're subscribed to all of our channels, and make sure that you hit that like button. All right?
Love it. Love it. So check this out. Dream Apparel asked the question, where do we get the list of who to reach out to? There's multiple different ways to do this. This is why it gets so confusing. By the way, 822 people here today. Wow. Watching live. We've got 3 different YouTube channels and a couple of different Facebook groups we are streaming simultaneously into. We will probably hit close to 900, maybe 1,000 live simultaneous viewers. And how many people are downloading this on a monthly basis, Brent?
120,000 listens, not just downloads. This is actual people that are listening 75% or more of each podcast episode, because it's not just this show that we put on the podcast. We also have individual shows that we all contribute to, whether it be from Pace, Jamil, myself, and Jerry Norton.
How fun.
7 days a week.
Wow.
7 days a week.
What explosive growth. And that's all thanks to you guys. We appreciate the support.
Absolutely love it. So here's a question for you, Jamil, because this leads into one of the things that you're working on right now. Jose Ramirez says, I've listened to countless hours of podcasts. I haven't taken any action.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying I can get a deal in a week because I'm broke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jose, Jamil's got a good answer for you. I personally believe that one of the greatest ways to get a deal is to jump involved in a community activity such as a challenge. Something where hundreds, if not thousands of other people are collectively taking the same actions simultaneously, directed by somebody who's doing a deal. Jamil has done 2 of these challenges this year. I believe he's wrapping up his last challenge of the year coming up pretty soon. And Jamil, you are essentially giving people homework on a daily basis over how much time in this challenge, and when does this start?
So the challenge has been starting at 8 a.m. Pacific, and it's on my YouTube channel, guys. If you aren't watching it, it's called the Secret Weapon Challenge. It's a free challenge. It's just our community, the astro flipping community and the sub 2 community coming in and watching, helping learn, connecting and communicating with each other how we do agent outreach. Today we had John Galan, who masterfully got on the phone with multiple different agents and pitched in very, very transparent terms, cash offers, and creative deals.
Love it.
How incredible was that? And you know where John learned how to pitch creative deals? From that fine gentleman right there,
Who?
Pace Morby.
He does creative deals?
Oh yes,
What?
and just from listening to Pace on YouTube and connecting with some of Pace's students, John's been able to connect the dots and actually just completed his first sub 2 wholesale deal.
Come on.
An Astro student with a sub 2 student.
Boom, 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 boom.
Sorry,
Too powerful.
hilarious.
Congratulations, John.
Yeah,
That is absolutely fantastic.
To answer that question, you can absolutely do a deal. I would say that it's wishful thinking to think that there's going to be an opportunity that you're going to get into and sell and cash a check in a week. Has it happened before? Yes.
Sure.
Is it the norm? Absolutely not. I would say that if you're going to start making calls, if you're going to be calling realtors, or if you're going to go direct to seller and call homeowners, whatever that is, I would give yourself at least 90 days of consistent action before you start expecting to start cashing checks. What do you guys think about that? What do you think?
Well, I think if you think that you can't do it in a week, you're not going to do it in a week. And he said that I am broke. And I hate when people say I am broke, because that is literally putting a label on yourself that I am broke. Right. And so I get what you're saying. And this isn't like a personal thing, but I think that the labels that we put on ourselves are very powerful. And I think if you wake up every single day and you say to yourself, you ask the question, who is going to sign a purchase agreement today? You will find people that sign purchase agreements more often than you would if you didn't ask that question.
You get what you're looking for.
You get what you're looking for. Always. You listen, you think and grow rich, right? You become what you think about. You become what you're obsessed with. I think that if somebody kidnapped your dog or your child and said you had to get a deal in the next 48 hours, you could find a deal. I do. I really do. I think that if you were absolutely ridiculously obsessed with getting a deal, you would find a way to do it. You would find a way to do it. So what is the difference? What is the difference between that being a real situation and you just going out there because you want to find a great opportunity? It's all a mental thing. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go out and actually take action and be obsessed and be around people that are obsessed and taking action? Or are you going to think about it?
True story.
We don't get paid to think.
Nope. We got to do.
We don't get paid to think.
Brent Daniels, what are the numbers for hand dialing? What are you teaching them TTP students over there?
Well, the TTP students usually have a budget for a dialer. If they don't, then you just have to triple the amount of time that you spend making calls. I mean, it's just that is what it is. So you could talk to 3 times as many people. I mean, the difference between a dialer and hand dialing is the difference between walking down the street and being in a jet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so much faster. Or maybe a really fast horse. I don't know, but it's way faster. So I mean, but yeah, I kidnapped your dog challenge.
My gosh, that's hilarious! I kidnapped your dog challenge.
Oh, jeez.
I like that. That's money.
Dana, that's a great picture too, brother.
I've got a good question here. So for the people, I just kind of blew up my Instagram stories the other day about this exact topic. People that believe that they don't have time. Justin Richardson says, my biggest hurdle right now is that I'm a truck driver and I work sometimes 14 hours a day and I drive up to 11 hours a day. Do you have any suggestions? Well, yeah, first and foremost, sit down. You won't do it, but this is my suggestion. Again, you won't do it. Most people won't. They'll go, that's a great idea. They won't do it. Sit down and actually do an audit on your calendar. Most people in here are not even using a calendar. 850 people in here, I would say 800 of them are not using a calendar. I know where I'm going, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, etc. And I know where to fit things in. That also lets my team know, lets my wife know, gives my wife expectations when I'm going to be home and when I'm not going to be home. Most people utilize their 9-to-5 job as that's my work window.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, their wife, their children, everybody in their life expects them to not be working.
Right.
So my thing is, do an audit on your time, and you would be embarrassed if I spent a week with you. Think about this. If I spent a week with you and I audited your time as a fly on the wall, how much time would I find throughout the week? 5 hours? You would have to be the Superman of efficiency for me to only find 5 hours a week for you to work on your business. The Superman of efficiency. I would say even me, who's really busy, it's hard to get a hold of me. I'm meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. Even I could find an hour to 2 hours a day to reprioritize, reorganize something. And so I'm going to tell you, even if you're one of these people working 11 to 14 hours a day, my question is, great, what are you doing with the other 4 hours a day that you don't need to be sleeping?
Well, and look at it, Pace. I mean, imagine if you get paid $20,000 a deal and it takes you 20 hours to get that deal of straight calling. What if Jamil stood behind you every single hour and you gave people $1,000 cash every hour that they were on the phone? Do you think that you could get them off the phone?
There's no chance. But,
if you stood behind everybody on here and you gave them $1,000 cash for every hour that they stayed making calls,
absolutely, they would never get off the phone.
They try to go 100 hours a week,
100%.
right?
I've got a student in Astro. Her name is Brittany Berryman. Okay, she works a 9-to-5 job. She works 8 hours a day. She has a child who is a professional actor, so she's got to take him to auditions all day long,
all the time.
She's got a child who is in high school football, so you know the time commitments that are involved in that. She's married, and she routinely gets anywhere between $50,000 to $70,000 in real estate wholesale fees a month. And she's a professional CrossFitter. So she works out 2 hours a day. She works an 8-hour job. She works out 2 hours a day. She's a wife. She's taking her kids to their activities. And she has time to make an additional $50,000 to $70,000 a month in income. I don't buy that I don't have time comment. I don't buy it. I think that they're absolutely what Pace is saying is true. If you did an audit of your day, you would literally be embarrassed with how much dumb stuff you do in a day.
And go 4 layers deep. Time management, right? Then you got priority management. Then you got energy management. And last, what is your attention management? Yep. Where are you putting all your attention for your waking hours all day long? You know what I'm saying? Like where are you putting your attention? Like all the way down. And one, it's staying organized so that you know what you're supposed to do at the time that you're supposed to do. But you start with time blocking. You time block and you figure out, listen, you got to tell everybody, whether it be your wife or your husband, your partner, your kids, your family, your friends, your roommates, your frat bros, your sorority sisses, whatever it is, you tell them, listen, this is my goal that I'm doing. I need to not be interrupted for the next hour because I'm working on growing my real estate business. And you get everybody on board.
That's it. She's actually going to be the presenter tomorrow on our challenge.
Hey, is
so you
she
guys,
really?
yeah, if you guys want to meet Brittany and see how she pulls this off, you can ask her that.
Awesome.
Jamil, what day does your challenge end?
Thursday.
Oh my gosh. What time?
It ends at 10 a.m. on Thursday.
Perfect. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I'm like I'm one of the greatest at time blocking and like planning my day. And that comes from being the worst at it. I used to be the worst at it. I used to laugh and scoff at people that had Google calendars. I'm like, hey, nerds, idiots.
You should pull up your calendar. Pull up your calendar.
You want to see my calendar?
I do. I know I've seen it, but I want people to see just how much you pack into a day, because I see it and it makes my head spin.
Here's what I'm going to do is on Thursday. So I planned out my week. I do it every Sunday, spend 2 hours on Sundays. Typically, I didn't do it this Sunday because I just took basically the whole day off with the kids, but I did it today because you and I had the TV show off And so I did it this morning, planned out my whole week. I know where I'm going, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I have all these requests. I said no to a lot of things, and I have my week planned out, even time with my family, even time with my wife, even time with whatever. So on Thursday, I'm going to do a 1 hour, just literally 1 hour. I will do a Zoom, not an air meet, not a live. Literally, I will do a Zoom, and I will go through my entire week with you guys, and I will go through my goal sheet, and I will go through everything for anybody that wants to show up. I'll do it for free. And what I want Jonathan Reynolds to be one of the main people that come in, and I want to dissect your life. If you are one of these people that says, I don't have a good schedule and I don't know what to do, I want to dissect you and make you feel like shit for about 30 seconds. And then I want to rebuild you up and make you feel like a superhero within 30 minutes. Okay. I want to give you clarity on your day. And what I'll end up doing is I'll end up turning it into a YouTube video. And anytime somebody says, Pace, how do I time block? I go watch this Zoom I did with Jonathan Reynolds and all these other people. So guys, I'll create a little Zoom link for you in the side chat. Thursday, what time? Thursday, 4 p.m. How to plan your life, not your day, but your life. And I'll do it Thursday. Give you guys the link. Jamil, your challenge ending Thursday at 10 a.m.
At 10
right?
a.m. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to do a Zoom Thursday, 4 p.m. And I'm literally going to go an hour. That's it. I'm going to go an hour because I don't have any other time besides that because my whole day is planned. This is literally the only hour I have to spare. And I'm going to give it to Jonathan Reynolds. Okay. So if anybody wants to come, the Zoom link is going to be in the side chat in 10 seconds or less.
Amazing. Guys, in all honesty, every single one of you guys should be clicking on that Zoom link. Even if you think you're a badass with your time blocking and your scheduling, there's room for improvement. There's always ways to get more efficient, to get better at knowing where your hours. You get so many hours in your life, and so many of those hours are spent. I mean, a third of it is asleep, right?
Yeah.
And if you actually counted out how many hours you shower, how many hours you eat, how many hours you poop, how many hours you sleep, you'll realize that your waking life is not a lot. And so you should be damn efficient with the hours that you have available. So I think that all near 900 of you should be attending that Zoom to get more efficient with your time.
Here's an interesting thing too. People that have 9-to-5 jobs, you're just not efficient with your life. What you're doing is you're doing one thing at a time, all the time. I'm doing 2 or 3 things simultaneously. Like if I'm going to read a book, I physically Jamil reminded me of Think and Grow Rich as like one of his favorite books. So I bought the physical copy and I go on my morning walk with the book as I read. Like I'm literally reading the book as I'm walking. Okay. Or an audiobook. I'm not just chilling, listening to an audiobook. I'll do garage work. My son, Asher, and I yesterday took a load of stuff to the Goodwill. And the whole time I'm listening to a Brent Daniels podcast, literally. Okay. I'm always living the law of duality. I live in one day, 24 hours. I will sleep typically 6 to 7 and not really. I'll sleep 5. Sorry, guys. That's one place where I don't suggest you try and compete with me. I just sleep less than you guys and I wake up early and I do a whole bunch of crazy, amazing stuff. But everything else, all the other time that I have, the other 18 hours, I don't have a lot of time that's wasted. My wife and I hang out a couple hours every night with the kids in our room, cuddling in the bed, watching shows, laughing, having dinner together. My wife and I had lunch together. Guys, I hang out with my wife more than people with 9-to-5 jobs hang out with their wives. My wife travels with me. My kids travel with me. We go to church together. We go on drives. We go do a lot of things together. If you guys audited me, you would still find places that I waste my time, but I choose. I even plan to waste my time. It's okay for me today because I was off the TV show. I'm going to go get a haircut. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go whimsically go choose something. I'm going to go fill up my truck, take my daughter to Circle K because she loves getting these freaking juice things. It's okay to have wasted time. It's just not okay to have wasted time and then say you don't have time. That's the only thing it's not okay. So
Did you guys see that interview with Carlos Reyes and Bradley?
Not the entire one, but I plan to watch
So
it.
there is an interest. I just barely saw a little clip, and Bradley was saying, "How much time do you have in a day?" And Carlos is like 24 hours. He goes, "Well, I have way more than that." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I employ 100 people, and they all work 8 hours a day for me."
that
He goes,
is very
"I
true.
have 800 hours a day of things that I am working towards with my goals because I am leveraging other people." So we're not just talking about here on Wholesale Hotline doing a deal here or there. You can build a incredibly profitable real estate business if you stay in it long enough to build a real business. And that is when you replace yourself. That is when you have this thing rolling and you still have your goals and you've got other people working towards it. If you have a job right now, you are working towards somebody else's goal. Just, it is what it is.
Yes.
So why
That is
don't you
true.
put as much effort into working on your own goals? You would not be on here. You would not be on this show watching this right now if you did not have that beautiful brain that says, I do not want to work for people my whole life. I do not want to be average. I do not just want to do the same thing that my family has done for generations and generations. I want to break the mold, and I want to be the example that I leave for all my loved ones, friends, family, neighbors, whoever that I can influence in my world by being positive, by taking a lot of action and being wildly profitable and building real wealth. That's an interesting perspective on how much time you have in a day, right?
Absolutely.
I never had heard that before.
No, it's brilliant.
I never heard that before. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah. So, I mean, think about it, Pace. I mean, think about all the different businesses you literally could stop working right now. You could stop working. I could stop working right now. Right now. Literally right now.
You know, that's an
Just
interesting
live
topic
life.
too. Do you guys know
We could have all our
connected-
time. We could kick it.
Heck
We
yeah.
could do the 4-hour work week. I wouldn't be fulfilled, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I have no desire for that.
No, I don't either. The motor's too. The motor's going, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That was the most interesting part of this last couple of days at Grant Cardone's office. Was I met Ross from Connected Investors, the guy who sold Connected Investors.
What a great story.
Sold the business for $125 million to a big title company. He ends up, after taxes and everything else, he ends up netting about 50 mil, okay, in his pocket. He goes off, he buys a cabin.
Regular guy.
He used to be like a BMX sponsored guy, creates this software, goes and sells it, nets out 50 mil, is like, I'm done, I'm retiring, et cetera. Well, that business acquisition, he sold it, was so recent that like all the influence people knew about it. And so they invited him to this thing, even though he's been recently retired.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, literally within 3 hours of being in that room of all these people doing things and creating things and employing people and changing the world, he stands up and he's like, dude, I'm so glad I'm here. Like the engine just won't turn off. Like I don't need money ever again, but I'm here to create. Like this is to me, like for the biblical people, there's some people that are religious and some people that are not, but this is an interesting analogy for me. Somebody says to me like, well, man, when is enough enough? Like, I'm like, huh? Do you think that Jesus was like, hey, here, you're healed. And somebody was like, yo, dude, you did enough. You're done. You're done. You're good. You did enough. No, there's a purpose. While we are all here for a very specific and unique, individual specific reason. And so there's people that are out there to employ and lead and change the world. Are you one of those people? Or are you literally one of those people who goes, yeah, when I get my first milli, I'm out. I'm paying off my house and I'm never going to work again. I hope you're not one of those people, because you didn't go through all that turmoil, that angst, the anxiety, the stress, the pressure, and everything else just to make a couple $1,000,000 and go, I'm out. I'm done. That's the person the world actually needs. It's the person who's accomplished something, who has the guiding light to send people down the same exact path. So guys, you don't quit. You just get better and more efficient. I mean, Brent Daniels in a lot of ways probably has one of the best lifestyles I've ever seen. He chooses what days he's not going to work and what days he's going to work and what hours he's going to work. I love it. He has a freaking purpose. And he has a team that does the work for him when he's not around. So it's not like he stopped working. He created duplicates of himself. He created not clones, because nobody has as big of arms as you, but you created
Nobody.
duplicates of yourself that even when you're off at the cabin, things are happening. Your
Yep.
purpose is being served.
Amazing. That's such a great reminder, Pace, to bring up Ross in this circumstance, because again, you look at this and you wonder, why are we doing this?
Mhm.
Why?
Mhm.
And it's not money. Yes, look, some of us, you get to a point where you make enough money to pay the bills, and then what? Right? I haven't substantially upgraded my lifestyle since making substantially more money. I'm still very much the same guy.
Yep.
And so I can tell you that accumulating wealth is not my game anymore.
Nope.
And so you've got to ask yourself that question. What will you do? Why are you doing it?
Yeah, because you're going to have to face it. You're going to have to face all of the fears, all of the anxieties, all of the you're going to have to all the rejection, all the emotions of this business, and keep doing it year after year after year after year. And sometimes you do the boring work. Sometimes it's just making calls all day, every day for years to build up and to get yourself out of whatever hole that you're in. I was in a huge hole. Over $700,000 judgment on an office lease I couldn't pay during the downturn in the market in 2008. I had signed an office lease for 10 years for 9,000 square foot in the Scottsdale Air Park, and I couldn't pay it after 9 months. They sue you for the rest. That's what happens. And so getting out of that and losing houses and losing cars and doing all these things, don't get to the point where you lose everything before you start really putting the efforts into this business. Like, just start going, start charging after your goal and stop looking around at everybody else. Just charge it down and stay focused. Ugly houses, big checks. Seriously, just stay focused. That's the theme of the year. There's Mara.
So a new investor is getting involved in wholesale.
Yes.
We've now covered what lead generation they would be employing to get their contracts.
Yep.
What's the next step?
Well, after you get your lead generation going, you need to convert those leads into a signed contract, into a signed agreement. And that breaks down into 3 parts itself: pre-qualifying, lead follow-up, and your offer presentation. And this doesn't matter if you're with an agent or if you're going direct to the seller. Those are the next 3 parts. Do you know the condition of the property, their timeline to sell it, their motivation, and their price? Those are the 4 things, the 4 pillars of pre-qualifying every seller every single time. And if you're just getting started and understand that that is the skeleton of every single conversation, is the condition, timeline, motivation, price, and I suggest you do it in that order. Condition, timeline, motivation, price, you figure those out. You know if you have somebody that has a likelihood of doing business with you, and you don't waste your time hoping that somebody is going to be convinced to sell to you at a discount, because it never happens that way. It never happens that way.
So pre-qualifying,
Making
sure that what you have is that, and for people that are looking on market deals, pre-qualifying would be making sure that there's some potential there, that there's actually a wholesalable deal here, that this is a distressed property that needs work, that somebody can go in and do some renovations to and increase its value and be able to sell for a profit. So you need to be able to find, that's part of the pre-qualification, right? Is this actually a property that fits the bill for what we're trying to accomplish here?
So you pre-qualify them, you do your lead follow-up.
You do your lead follow-ups.
Because 90% of the time, it's going to be lead follow-up. 95, 99.
On direct to seller, how many contacts would you typically say you need to have with a homeowner before?
Minimum 8.
8 contacts. On
Minimum.
Agents, it's interesting. It's 8.
Yeah. I'm telling you. They're human beings.
What a thing, guys. You've got to touch people 8 times minimum before they're going to produce a deal.
So you do your lead follow up, and then you do your offer presentation. And everybody's like, you need to know the cleanest ways to close deals and all of this. If you pre-qualified them and you did your lead follow up, the natural progression should be you closing that deal. Now, could there be other competition? Should there be some other people telling them, what to do with the property? Sure. There's always going to be objections. But if you write down the objections and you write 2 ways to overcome those objections, then you feel more powerful. But you're not even going to know those. You're going to practice things like on the fly when you're on an appointment with somebody. Like, figure out what these objections are going to be and then come up with 2 ways to overcome them and get those deals closed. And then from there, and we're just talking just building wholesale, just doing some deals. We're not even talking about the different strategies that you can use for different creative financing or the sub-2s or all these other things that you can do on the appointment to be able to serve these people. We're just talking about straight cash offers as is for these properties that need some love. That's all we're talking about right now.
Laura says, babe, how many people are watching in total? Guys, we've got 900 people watching us live right now between a couple of YouTube channels and a couple of Facebook groups. We used to not stream to the Facebook groups, but we realized not everybody has YouTube. And so Facebook groups actually really help out. So guys, welcome. Really appreciate you. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the love. And what I think we should do is, because we've asked you guys to leave good reviews, and I think we've got 400 or 500 good reviews on the podcast. But I feel like if we ask you, you don't do anything. So I'm just going to say thank you for not leaving more reviews. I appreciate it. It's great. We want to keep right around there.
Don't even bother, guys. We don't need them.
Yeah, we don't. So don't even think about it. 900 total on the hotline. That's right. 2 years ago, we got 900 for the first time with Max Maxwell. That was our first 900 episode. That was gangster. That was a really great episode. Okay, cool. Ooh, check this out. Asher is working at a seller finance to sell a couch for more money. Will accept payments. He's currently working on that right now. There's so many little side hustles to make money on, guys. My gosh. Did anybody see that post I made about Asher's trailer rental business?
So cool.
I'll get like 7,000 to 9,000 people watch my stories, but people were sharing that like crazy. I had like 20,000 people end up seeing my stories yesterday. Like people that haven't seen my stuff because the algorithm's suppressing you as time goes on. It was bonkers. That I should like bring Asher on like an episode talking about how to do the certain thing, not Wholesale Hotline, but another episode of one of the things I'm doing. There's so many ways to make money. He's currently arbitraging a trailer that's not his and renting it out and making money. And people are out there saying, I'm broke. I get it. My son has a unique advantage, as he should, because he has a father that cares. But you also have 3 brothers that care about you on this screen. We're desperately trying to get you to make money. You've had the same advantage my son has. In fact, I don't think I've ever spoken to my son as much as I've spoken at the Wholesale Hotline screen over 200 episodes.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like how many hours do you think we've put into Wholesale Hotline over the years? A good 500 hours?
Yeah, it's 131 episodes. We are 90 minutes each, an hour and a half each. So what is that? 131 times 1.5.
131 times 90. 11,000.
11,790 minutes.
196 hours.
196 hours.
Okay, I've talked to my son way more than that, but
how
still.
How many days is this? How many days is that?
I don't know. Asher and I don't actually talk a lot. I usually am like, hey, Asher, do this for your mom. Hey, Asher, do this. Hey, Asher, do that. Hey, Asher, go get this vanilla milk for Corbin. And he's just a great son. He's an amazing, amazing human being. Jamil, you hang out with Asher a lot. He's not a big talker. When he just is a fun-loving, amazing guy. He's he's good to have in the mix.
He's the best. He doesn't say a lot, but when he talks, it's always hilarious and awesome. And also, he's a very sweet boy. I mean, Pace, you guys have done an incredible job raising Asher into be like a stand-up guy. And for a teenager, I mean, he's polite. He takes care of his sisters. He's nice to other people. He's making money. I mean, we'd all be so lucky to have a teenager like
He's
that.
going to be the next Jamil Damji, dude. I'm telling you. Freaking telling you.
Maybe if he eats a little more.
Yeah, my wife says he's an observer. There's a
Bro,
lot of people that are observers. That is very true. Very, very true. Yeah, this is interesting. Lisa King says, I cannot even watch as much content as you guys create or curate.
Good.
So here's the goal of that. You don't have to watch it all. You need to know what your next step is, right? So like, wholesale is a wonderful business. The next step, everybody should be asking themselves right now. Everybody, we've got 900 people watching right now. Ask yourself this question. Are you currently generating enough leads, AKA opportunities, in your business today? And if the answer is no, then you don't need to continue to watch any other content except where do I generate leads from? Because as Brent intelligently, eloquently lays out at the beginning of every show, this business is about 3 things. And number 1 is lead generation. It is how to get leads. In fact, understanding the business is actually not even one of those 3 things. Because what did you say, Brent? You said action plus results equals education.
That's right.
What is it? What do you mean by that?
Because most people think that you have to get educated and then you have to take action and that equals the results. No, your action plus your results is your education. If you get stuck, like you already know enough. Everybody on here knows enough. They really do. You just go out and have a quality conversation with the distressed property owner. You do that over 200 times, you win. That's it. The thing that's holding you back is the 199 people that are going to reject you and throw something at you that you feel uncomfortable with and make you feel like you're not getting anywhere and you're not just charging forward and just taking action until it works itself out. Right? That, and if you go out there and you find and have 200 conversations with ugly houses or people in distressed situations, and you squat up with people that close deals in this business in your marketplace, you can't lose, Jamil. Can you seriously?
No, there's no chance.
You came here knowing nobody in real estate, right?
Yes, sir. No, not. I mean, not only did I not know anybody when I first got here.
Yeah,
I had nothing.
I know.
I was like just stringing it together.
Right.
You had a sense of humor.
I could talk to people. That's it.
That's it, baby.
That's it.
I mean, you didn't have Instagram. You didn't have Facebook. You didn't even allow the agents that you talked to use your name. You said, don't tell too many people about me because they'll send me bad deals and I only want to work with the best, and that's you. So you made him feel all special. You were totally under the radar. Everybody that I talked to is like, yeah, there's this guy, but he doesn't want his name out there. And it's you. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like you of social media and have your own TV show and have this huge platform. It was you in slides and basketball shorts and a shirt making phone calls and texting people and doing like 30 deals a month.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Here's a great question for you guys. As a brand new wholesaler.
You didn't read a book on it. You weren't listening to podcasts on it. You weren't watching a YouTube video. Like, you didn't have any of that. You're still doing all those deals.
None of it.
As a brand new wholesaler, great question here. Everybody write this question down. If you're brand new to wholesale, this is a question that will commonly come up in your first couple of weeks as a wholesaler. How do you choose a market, Jamil and Brent? How do I choose a market?
Well, I love that response there. And it said, how do you choose a market? What was it? Nancy said, how do you choose a market when Phoenix is so competitive?
Yep.
Well, first and foremost, Nancy, I want to reframe the way you're thinking about things, because your thought is Phoenix is too competitive. I'm going to go somewhere where there's less competition and I will be able to carve out my place in that non-competitive market. Well, let me tell you why that thinking doesn't work. Because in a non-competitive market, it's going to be missing something that you need in order for this business to work. Buyers. Non-competitive markets are non-competitive because nobody's there, because nobody's doing business there. That's why when I get the question from people, how do I comp in rural areas? My answer is, you don't. You don't. when I have people arguing with me on my videos on YouTube about how to comp, they say, yes, but what about these very unique properties that are super custom that are that are almost one of a kind? How would you value that? I wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't. I play in traffic. And why do I play in traffic? Because I want to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get hit with contracts and I want to get hit with buyers. I want the traffic. I need the traffic. So Nancy, I would want you to reframe your thought process on where you will gain traction. You're going to gain traction where there's activity. So for me, I'm in Phoenix and I can crush it along with so many other people that are crushing it. Heidi, for instance, Heidi just posted that she just completed her third deal of the month and we're only halfway through the month. She's in Phoenix, Arizona. She's a month, maybe 2 months into astro flipping. She's like new. She learned the process of how to do agent outreach and wholesaler outreach. She decided that wholesaler outreach was going to be her primary methodology to get deals. And so she spends her entire day talking to wholesalers. And because Phoenix is so competitive, we've got a plethora of what?
Buyers.
Wholesalers and buyers. And so it's so easy for Heidi.
And lenders. The
And
other thing that
lenders.
people don't realize is we have the most competitive lenders in the nation.
Yep.
And
in the
that
nation.
allows, yeah, of course. And what does that allow her to do? It allows her to be in a highly competitive, liquid business model, business area, business territory. So I absolutely that you need to go and find or carve out. You're not going to be a king shit of Turd Island. I'm sorry. Okay, go and rock it in one of the major cities in the United States and crush it. That's where the money is. That's where the deals are. That's where the realtors are. That's where the homes are. That's where the distress is.
I've got a student. I call him the King of the North. His name is Preston Dahl. And he looks like the King of the North, to be honest. Maybe even more handsome. King of the North lives in North Dakota. Does deals a decent amount. Probably about 3 a month. Fix and flip, buy and hold, wholesale, right? And he comes to the mastermind and he says, Pace, how do I scale my business? I'm like, bro, that's not a question that we need to talk about at the mastermind. Ask a different question. He's like, well, no, I need to know, how do I scale my business? I'm like, get out of North Dakota. He played small for such a long time. In fact, a lot of times people play tricks on their mind and they'll say, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm good. This is amazing. I'm happy with 2 or 3 deals every single month. And they'll convince themselves that what they're doing is the right thing. And then you'll hit a point where enough is enough. And you go, I need more. I need to be able to hire more people. I need to expand my reach. I need to build my empire. So he then starts virtually doing deals in more competitive markets and realizes that the less competitive market was way harder than the way more competitive markets, even doing it virtually.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are in New York, New Jersey, I'm sorry, those areas are typically places that when people live in New York, New Jersey, you see them virtually wholesaling outside of the state, not just because of weather, but also because your guys' laws are a little challenging with rental laws, stuff like that. Guys, just virtually wholesale. Here's a great strategy that I use all the time. I do this when I'm buying properties. I've got a 105 unit Louisiana deal, 123 unit Louisiana deal, a 30 unit and a 43 unit deal that I'm closing all right now. Multifamily, all creative finance, great stuff. One of the barometers, the measurements that I use, whether it's a good deal or not, is whether there's people moving there or not. Go and Google this. Type in migration pattern and then the city that you want to invest in. And if it's growing over 0.8% every single year, you've got a market that will grow. Rents will go up. There will be appreciation. It's really simple. Go Google it right now. Type in migration pattern Orlando, Florida. You think people are moving to Orlando? Hell yeah. You think people are freaking moving to North Dakota? No, they're not. So maybe that's not a great place for you to go put your money.
Guys,
what did Grant Cardone say? He said, money follows attention.
Yep.
And wherever the migration is, that's where the jobs are going. That's where the people are going. That's where rents go up. That's where landlords are buying. That's where fix and flippers see opportunity. That's where people are going and buying vacant lots and going, I can build here and go and flip this to a retail buyer. Go places where you have over a 0.8% migration growth, and you're going to dominate.
Taylor Marr is the chief or the head of VP and analytics at Redfin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
They've got a tremendous amount of resources to throw at understanding how and why we had this massive amount of appreciation that happened in the real estate market in 2022 in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And there were three functions of that. The first was millennials coming of age
Mm-hmm.
and being able to purchase homes. The second was cheap money.
Yep.
The third one was migration.
Yeah.
Those are the three factors that create a highly, highly profitable real estate market.
Yep.
Now we've got cheap money off the table. Well, it's still not expensive, but it's not as cheap as it was. So what Pace is saying is absolutely correct, guys. Migration patterns and millennials are everywhere.
Yep.
Are we all frozen?
No, my computer just crashed.
Oh,
The stream's still up with Case.
okay.
So are we not on at all?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Keep going, Jamil. We can hear you.
Yeah, so the migration patterns are the reason why those are the main factors right now that we need to look at because money is off the table and millennials are everywhere. So migration patterns, the way that Pace just described it, that's absolutely one of the most important factors in whether or not your real estate market is going to continue to appreciate. And what do investors want?
Growth.
Appreciation. They want to make money.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, guys. It's not hard to figure this out. You can see where the hottest markets are. Look at Florida, by the way. Can you guys see this on your screen?
Yes,
Or
sir.
you guys are frozen.
Can you hear me, Pace?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Can you see this on your screen?
Yeah, we do.
So Florida is probably a good market to go into, right? Jamil, you were just saying to me the other day, Tampa and Orlando are like hot for you guys and have been
Hot,
for a
hot,
long
hot.
time.
Super hot.
So kind of hard to miss there. The Carolinas are hot. North Carolina, all of North Carolina I've experienced has been hot. I've experienced great rental growth. Great. We just bought a big asset in Charlotte. That was great. Atlanta, dude, your guys' Atlanta franchises are blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of Atlanta. Do you think Alabama in Montgomery, Alabama is probably a great place for me to go, or maybe Tuscaloosa, or should I go focus on maybe Birmingham areas?
Birmingham, I've heard, is a tremendous place to invest in and do real estate deals.
There you go. And then same thing with
our good friend Ty Taylor is out there. Flipman.
Yeah, right. And then here's Texas, like all of Texas. Guys, go where the growth is. Austin, Houston, Dallas, right? Probably.
Pace, where would be a bad place? Let's see where would you stay away from off this map?
Where would I stay away from? I would stay away from most places in New Mexico. I would stay away from most places in Kansas, except for maybe Topeka. But these aren't really growing. These are kind of stagnant, right?
Yep.
Missouri is blowing up. Oh my gosh. I would not spend much time in Iowa except for Des Moines, right? If I'm going to go and invest, I would focus my time and energy. It doesn't mean that these are bad areas. It means that if I'm brand new, I want to go where there's the best lenders, the best fix and flippers, the majority of the people are doing business. You want to go where the gold is. I look at this, I'm like, okay, if you're going to go and you're going to become a gold miner, right? And it's like 1848 or 1849, right? The 49ers. Do you think if you're in Iowa and everybody's finding gold in San Francisco that you're going to, I'm good. I'm going to stay here. It's like, no, dude, that's what you do for a living. Go to where all the gold is. All the gold is in those purple areas that have migration. So 100% go where the activity is. Jamil said it so well tonight. He said, I play in traffic so I can get hit. That was great. Ralph Pena says, stay away from Philly. There's no deals here. Bro, come on. There's a lot of deals there.
And speaking of traffic, we get all the fun people in the chat here, guys. If you ever do see accounts that pretend to be myself, Pace, or Brent trying to sell you, or Laura, or anyone else that is a part of our family here, trying to sell you Bitcoin or have you subscribe to Pace's OnlyFans, it's not real.
Angie Ramos says, Pace, where'd you pull that map up? Guys, do yourself a favor
And
type in, go to Google and type in migration patterns US. And you'll see the US Census Bureau. They're really, really good. And then you'll have 50 other websites that all have this information. It's super easy.
I have a student, David. He lives in Abuja, Nigeria, 22 years old. I'm going to be interviewing him on the podcast on Wednesday. I attempted to do a call breakdown with him last week on my Wednesday show on my YouTube channel, and he's closed 5 deals. 5 deals from Abuja, Nigeria, in Houston, Texas.
Incredible.
He went where the buyers were.
Yep.
He calls all day long, and he's building up this incredible business. 22 years old. And he's like, I don't understand why everybody isn't just doing this. He doesn't understand why people would have fear of doing this. He doesn't understand why people would hire somebody else to do this until they learn how to do it themselves. Anybody can do this.
Amazing.
I got Dimitri Van Camp. I interviewed him. He's from Belgium. He's done 400 deals in the last 3 years.
Wow.
400 deals.
That's over 100 deals a year.
Absolutely. Himself. Zero employees.
Amazing.
All himself. Where does he go to do his deals? Where there are buyers.
He plays
That's
in traffic.
the number one thing that I have 8 or 10 TTP family members in Tel Aviv, Israel. And they all go find where the major markets are that have buyers. That's it. Like, guys, quality conversations with distressed property owners or people that represent distressed property owners over and over and over and over. You do the boring work, and you that's how you build this business. I love this quote, and I said it all last week, and I'm going to say it on here by Jim Rohn. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. That's it. It's just doing the work.
It's real. That's very real.
It's you texting every agent. You making calls to every agent. You going and connecting with every agent. OnlyFans, there it is.
Amazing. Where's Pacer at?
I'm right here. I'm just, Brent was talking. I wanted to highlight him with that dope screen.
Pretty neat, right?
It's insane. I love it.
We'll have a bunch of fun stuff on there. We'll have Drake.
Is there a couch
dancing
in there that we could have
background.
like a live audience?
Yeah, well, we've got chairs set up. So, guys, we're going to be opening up the Wholesale Hotline to a live audience in the coming future. If you guys are interested in coming out and joining us live in studio to watch Wholesale Hotline, leave us a comment. Let us know if you would actually travel out here, or if you are local in Arizona and you want to sit in Wholesale Hotline.
Yeah.
And we can convince Mr. Morby to come out and join us. The 3 of us would be here together. It would be fun.
I think about it all the time.
Brett's banana.
That's a really good.
Why are you
that's
thinking
a
about
good
my
one.
banana, bro? That's great.
We actually, you know what? We should have Dan Quijano come on as a guest of Wholesale Hotline, not just.
That'd be
He's so
phenomenal.
great. He's
It'd
so
be
great.
phenomenal. Yep.
I
Love
love
to have him on.
Dan Quijano. Let's get him out here. We are near the end of the hotline, guys, and I just wanted to remind you that I am in the middle of the Secret Weapon Challenge. And this is where I've curated some of Astro Flipping's top students, and we are finding out what their secret weapon in their business is. And yes, today we highlighted John Galan, whose secret weapon is his sweet, buttery voice and his ability to connect with real estate agents in a transparent, honest, and effective way. Tomorrow we'll have Brittany Berryman, who is going to teach us how to build better buyers lists. So if right now you've been suffering from your hedge funds turning off the tap, if your buyers are disappearing because of the market turn, and you want to find out how to find some better buyers, you want to show up to Brittany Berryman's Better Buyer Workshop tomorrow on the Secret Weapon Challenge.
You crushed that. That was a tongue twister.
It was good.
Can you give it to me one more time?
Brittany Berryman's Better Buyer Workshop tomorrow on the Secret Weapon Challenge.
Crushing it.
And what do you got going on, Brent?
Yeah, join me live. We are going live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for 2 hours on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel. Join us for that show on Wednesday. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Make sure that you jump on that. If you have any questions that didn't get answered today, you don't want to wait much longer to get an answer for that.
Pacer?
I have one thing going on this week, and it's the time blocking 1 hour that I'm doing on a Zoom where I can share my calendar with you guys. I can bring some people up on Zoom, and I'm going to dissect your guys' inability to time block once and for all. And I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel so you guys can go back and listen to it, watch it, etc. But if you guys feel like you want to learn how to time block and manage your life, come in on Thursday at 5 p.m., 1 hour. I'm literally doing 1 hour. It's the only time I have all week long. And I know because I time block my shit. Come hang out with me Thursday, 4 p.m. Arizona time. By the way, if you ever ask what time zone, there's only one time zone as far as I'm concerned. It's Arizona, because we're the only knuckleheads that don't change our time twice a year. Arizona time, 4 p.m. Thursday.
Guys, before we wrap, say that one more time, Pace. I'm sorry I stepped on you.
No, bro, I got it out. I'm good.
I wanted to congratulate our friend. So, you guys heard Snoop Dogg bought Death Row?
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
You guys hear about Snoop Dogg bought Death Row?
Yep.
And he belonged. He deserved to buy Death Row. Why? Because Snoop Dogg built Death Row, and so he absolutely deserved to buy Death Row. Well, it came to my attention and Pace's attention the other day that Wholesale's Snoop Dogg, Mr. Brent Daniels, is the new owner of Wholesaling Inc. Guys, the Wholesaling Inc. brand is now with the man who built the brand, Mr. TTP himself. He bought the brand. He owns the brand. It's back where it belongs. Death Row's owned by Snoop Dogg. Yeah, baby. Congratulations, Brent. We love you. We're so proud of you. Back where it belongs. The man, the myth, the legend got Wholesaling Inc. back.
Rhino Tribe. I'm coming for you. Rhino Tribe. No.
Come on, do it.
The old Tom Kroll.
Yeah. Rhino.
Tom Kroll, Cody Hoffine did a phenomenal job. It was passed on to a good friend, Chris Arnold, and now it is over to me. So it's a huge responsibility, and I love it, and I love that tribe, and I'm going to do my best to guide it as well as I can. So there we go.
Hey, ring the bell for
Ring the
yourself.
bell. Let's do it.
Yeah!
Boom. Bro,
Well deserved,
congratulations. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
I
Wholesale
gotta
Hotline.
have a private phone call with you this morning about it. I'm so freaking excited about that. That was the first mentorship I joined.
Yeah.
In real estate. And I'm so grateful for TTP. It is wholesale, dude. You know
Thank
what I'm
you,
saying?
It's
Yep.
Wholesaling Inc. Incorporated.
That's it.
It's amazing, and it belongs with you, bro. Congratulations.
Thank
You
you.
deserve that.
Thank you.
What an honor.
Bro, when I
Wholesale
heard
Hotline
that news, I
131.
was like, that's bananas.
It's bananas.
It is bananas.
It's bananas.
Yep.
How incredible our life is.
It is. Love it.
Great job.
Love
bro.
you guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show. Cool.